Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to do something a little different this year for autism awareness. Usually I would do an interview with my station, relaying my experiences about being on the spectrum. But, due to social distancing guidelines, I think that might be a little bit much to ask for of our news director. And that I want to do something a little different this year, a little face-to-face with the face behind the voice, so to speak. And I read this cool article on yahoo.com. I actually read it on my radio show too, but I'm going to read it to you this time and also interject a little bit more commentary about my personal experiences on the spectrum. Okay? Anyway, this is how it goes. The terms autism and Asperger syndrome are often used interchangeably. And once considered a mild but distinct form of autism, Asperger's was a diagnosis in and of itself. With advances in our understanding of the condition, Asperger's now features on the less severe end of the autism spectrum. And more than 1 in 100 people, or 1.1% in the UK, are thought to have some degree of autism, and the disorder is often more obvious in children, with 1 in 54 youngsters said to have shown symptoms in the US. So the timing for Autism Awareness Month and just the overall prevalence, it's important. It could help not only the person on the spectrum, but it help out everybody else who interacts with that child or adult. Anyway, so how do autism and Asperger's syndrome differ? Well, doctors no longer diagnose individuals with Asperger's according to the National Health Service in the UK. Those diagnosed before this change do keep their original diagnosis, however. So I don't know what the condition, what is the condition here in the U.S. regarding to Asperger's syndrome as a distinct diagnosis, but at least in the U.K., I'm a collectible because I was diagnosed in the mid-90s, so I am part of a vintage series. Yay. Anyway, Asperger's is named after an Austrian doctor, Hans Asperger's, who observed autism-like difficulties in terms of socialization in boys with normal intelligence and speech development. That was me. They didn't notice anything about me being silent or learning at school. It was how I was interacting with the adults and especially my teachers. Some consider Asperger's as a mild form of autism, with Professor Ute Frith, editor of the journal Autism and Asperger's Syndrome, previously describing these individuals as having a dash of autism. And Asperger's was added to the American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders in 1994 as a separate disorder from autism. Later in 2013, an updated manual put Asperger's under the umbrella diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. So it's kind of like a corporate takeover, so to speak, of a large company, of a small company, Autism was going good for a while, but eventually decided to, get out of the business and let somebody else take over. And I think that's a good analogy. Anyway, autism is not considered an illness, but it instead describes how an individual's brain works differently. True. People may find it more difficult to communicate or understand how others think. Well, I've had trouble expressing my emotions in a way that's socially healthy, and I've gone off the deep end too with that. Also, sometimes I can't get what other people are thinking. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer. And some find bright lights or loud noises overwhelming and become anxious in familiar settings. Bright lights, a little bit. Loud noises, no, it's not really loud noises for me. It's the type of noises. If it's like a noise that I can't stand, obviously I can't stand it. But if it's something cool, like a certain song, I actually tend to play that song over again because I love the sound of it. Ooh, the sound of it. But as for anxious and unfamiliar settings, check. Still happens to this day. This old man of 31 still doesn't like uncomfortable places sometimes. Now, autism has no cure, and many people with the condition are able to live a full life while others may require a caretaker. Asperger's, or high-functioning autism, is sometimes used to refer to an autistic person with an average or superior intelligence. Now, I wouldn't say I have a superior intelligence. I know what I know, but if I want to know something, I usually try to look it up. I don't make any pretenses about knowing everything, because I don't know everything, especially social skills. And often I would ask a good friend of mine what is the best situation to do in this kind of thing. And sometimes, family members have helped me out in a way to learn how to act in a certain social situation. But all I require is just a little consideration that I don't know exactly everything, and if I ask you something, just answer in a positive, non-condescending way. And also, even if I don't know anything, just do it that way, because I'll get to that point in a moment, because we're all at the end of this, we're all strangers to this world, so it's best to help out the strangers the most polite way we can. Anyway, some people with autism have learning difficulties and a delay in speaking, or even nonverbal. Obviously, that's not me, but I've heard stories of this, and something to keep in mind with people on the spectrum. To an outsider, an individual with Asperger's may seem cognitively sound, but with different ways of behaving. Once again, check. I may interact or react differently to certain things than most people. Some people might get really upset over a certain thing. I might go, meh. Or I might get really upset over a certain thing, and other people will go, meh. Anyway, unlike autistic individuals, those with Asperger's often want to fit in, but may be unsure how to interact with others. Check. Yeah, because all my life I wanted to fit in, and I do fit in, but maybe not completely fit in like other people do. There's like certain things that will go way over my head, and it's often good that there are caring, understanding people who, take the time to try to come on my level, so to speak, about this thing, and not, try to go all know-it-all or, bully me into it, because I've met people in that life, and even people that I love dearly, they sometimes often forget, and I often forget. And, it's not just me, that if I'm unsure about something, or if somebody's unsure about a subject, I, in the past, have done talking down to people, and try my best not to do that anymore. More on that at the end. They struggle to maintain eye contact. Check. Understand sarcasm. Actually do much better than I do now, and actually practice some sarcasm from time to time, or appear engaged in conversation. Now that's kind of true, but then again, I have often things on my mind that I try to, a lot of things on my mind. So if it looks like I'm far away, it doesn't automatically mean I'm distracted or anything, because sometimes I'm doing a thing and somebody else is talking. I'm doing my best to do two things at once. Okay? And then again, there are some subjects where I'm just like, I zone out because I have no interest in it whatsoever. Sorry about the train. They do not have speech delay, but may speak in a way that's overly formal, excessively loud, or without inflection. Oh yeah. And, well, the good thing is, working at the radio has allowed me to work around that autistic accent, as I like to call it. I do sometimes speak overly formal, but that's not really the problem. It's the excessively loud part. I don't sound that loud. That's not my loud voice. It's just some simulated loud voice, or without inflection, because sometimes I do talk like this. And my manager said, you shouldn't do that. You should speak with energy. So that's what I'm doing right now with you guys. Also practicing on the smiling. It's natural smiling, but doing it a lot more proactive smiling. Anyway, nobody knows for sure what causes autism spectrum disorder, and it can affect individuals in the same family, suggesting there's a genetic element. Actually, with my older brother, my younger sister, they themselves, plus my mom, have noticed that they exhibit some symptoms of autism. So there's a pretty good basis for that. Autism is not, and this is very important, autism is not caused by bad parenting, vaccines, diets, or infections. Exactly. Don't pretend it's any of those things. Don't buy into that belief that it's any of those things. We're people, just a little bit different. We're not some We're not the result of some tragic accident like that of a supervillain's origin story, like a certain chemical landed on us and we're all weird and different. You know, it's just the way we are. Oh, sorry about that. My phone almost fell out of my hand. Anyway, it cannot be treated, however, many individuals benefit from speech and language therapy or occupational support. Now, this is the part I thought it was a little silly because that's describing treatment. I've had to go to occupational therapy and speech therapy. That's being treated. I think they meant to say it cannot be cured or fixed or, done away with completely, but obviously can be treated. And they needed to word that better, but otherwise, very good article. That's the only drawback of this article. And finally, autism can occur alongside conditions that can be managed, like depression, anxiety, hypertension, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, epilepsy, and dyslexia. Check on the depression. I do get that from time to time. It's more of the social isolation thing that really is the main factor of it. Anxiety. Oh, definitely. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, a little bit. I take medicine for that. Epilepsy and dyslexia, no, I don't have that, but I don't, that doesn't mean I'm gonna be crowing about saying, woo, I don't have it, because some people do have it. Doesn't make them any different or any less. Anyway, yeah, that's the end of the article. I just thought I'd share it along with some commentary about what's going on, and like I said, do something different with a video this year. We're not doing interviews at the station about this due to social distancing, and something different. I like doing interviews. In fact, one of my things, one of the goals in my life is to maybe go do a speech on to a bunch of high schoolers. Obviously can't be done with the virus going on, or maybe do a presentation on TED Talk or something like that, but obviously can't be done either. And also, I'm not well known enough to have my own TED Talk or interview like that. So, just a little one-on-one with you and me on this video. Thanks to my brand new phone. Nice high-resolution video as well. Once again, I do apologize if the wind is a little too loud, or the train, or the other noises too. Finally, what I wanted to say at the end of this is strangers. We're all born in this world strangers to the world that we have to live in, autistic or not. And we all don't know the rules of what goes on in life. What we're supposed to do, what is expected of us, all that. We're all born into this world strangers. So I think for those who lived here a while, who are no longer strangers, I think it's incumbent on us to treat those who are strangers, autistic or not, treat us like we don't know everything automatically, and it would be better to do it in a way that's not condescending or harsh or relentless or anything like that. Just help us out. Okay, don't go completely hands-off, hands-free, laissez-faire, but do it, a delicate touch, so to speak. Especially those like me on the spectrum, or somebody who's more on the severe autism side of things, who really can't verbalize what they're feeling and what they want. Just a little bit more understanding. Like I said, we're all strangers here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for sticking with me on this video and through life in general. Talk to you later. I gotta get ready for work pretty soon. All right, bye guys. Love you. Bye.